It's just hard to find the normal bits when it's so disorganized like that. But
yeah, there wasn't many normal bits there.
Got some caffeine in your water, Cam?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see how many cups of coffee I can tolerate today.
Yeah, we're about to take a break for now, so that's good. All right, from Mark to everyone, did anyone see giant cells?
No.
Does that still make it giant cell arteritis?
Cool. Right.
Okay, are we up to me or you, Amanda? You
did the keratoconus, must be me. Okay.
Okay. All right, so a couple of questions. Anyone see giant cells? Said Mark. All right, and then I was on again. Can you call it a thrombus just because you see red cells in the lumen?
Okay, all right, let's just start at the beginning first. First of all, we have to identify what is the structure that we're looking at, because I don't see any particular eye structures here. Is it the lacrimal gland? Is it the duct? What is it? Okay, I see transverse sections of a circular structure, and looks like a big circle and a little circle. So it looks like this is a branch of the big circle. And I can see a small lumen in the middle. Therefore, I think this circular structure is a blood vessel. Blood vessels come in arteries and veins. The other thing that would support this being a blood vessel is this is a branch of the larger blood vessel. They're both seen in transverse section. Is it an artery or a vein? I can see at this power down here some pink wiggly worms. This is the internal elastic lamina. Therefore, I think this is an artery. Here we go. And vessels, I like to describe them in a systematic manner. And vessels have three layers to them: the intima, the media, and the adventitia. And I'm just going to start from inside out. The lumen appears severely restricted or constricted by proliferation of the media, the intima. To me, this is proliferated because the lumen should be a lot larger. And this could be due to organization of a thrombus, because I see little neovascularization channel down here. This could be a neovascularization channel. There's extravasated red blood cells that are being organized, and over here there looks like fibrin and extravasated red cells. So I think maybe this is an organizing thrombus in the lumen with neovascularization. Oops. What else do I see? So thrombus, we'll go out to the next layer. I'm going to look at the media. The media is composed of smooth muscle and internal elastic lamella. I can only see the elastic lamella here, but it appears to be lost or broken up or discontinuous around most of the periphery. Why is that? Because there's inflammation. There is inflammation in the media and inflammation in the adventitia. And my eye is drawn to areas like this and this, which is exactly where the internal elastic lamella should be, but is no longer. And I can't go any higher power. And I can see a conglomeration of multiple nuclei together. And I'm suspicious that this is a squashed giant cell. And I'm also suspicious that these are squashed giant cells as well. Even if they weren't giant cells, I think this is an arteritis or a vasculitis in an artery, therefore an arteritis. And I would confirm it with the other side. Probably doesn't give us much more information than that. I don't need to see a giant cell in order to call it a temporal arteritis. This is something that should respond to steroids, but this type of syncytial arrangement of nuclei makes me think of giant cells. So I would just call this temporal arteritis / giant cell arteritis. More questions? What are the questions I had to answer? And this
can
branch,
you cause a thrombus just because you see red cells in the lumen?
well, red cells in the lumen are normal, right? So, so these are not just red cells, that it is a combination of things. So let's look over here, for example. We have a few red cells, but you see this pink amorphous material. I think this is probably fibrin and organizing degenerate red cell material. So this is an organizing thrombus to me. Over here, there are red cells and there is fibrin, and it appears to be organizing.
I agree. I think that
Down
this
here.
is in a vessel that's actually thrombosed off, and as then most of that stuff in the lumen is organizing thrombus, and we've got a little neo-lumen that's formed.
Yes, neovascularization here, here, this little slit-like thing. And look, we can see this is old. Look at this brown stuff. What's the brown stuff? Is it melanin, team? What's the brown stuff?
Hemosiderin?
Hemosiderin.
Exactly. How long does it take for hemosiderin to accumulate? 7 to 10 days. Well, it does in the heart anyway. So this has been going on for at least 7 to 10 days and maybe longer, several weeks. So this is an organizing thrombus in a medium-sized muscular artery showing vasculitis. This is a temporal arteritis, giant cell arteritis pattern. Differential diagnosis. Often, not this case, atherosclerosis. But atherosclerosis should have calcium in the walls and should not be concentrically inflamed like this, and should not have destruction of the internal elastic lamina by giant cells and inflammatory cells. I think this is a giant cell there. It's just squished.
Quite often in atherosclerosis, we get reduplication of the internal elastic lamina.
Yeah, this has been destroyed. So probably the lumen should be around the outside, this here. And inside is we've got a organizing thrombus. So maybe they've already had their damage. Maybe they've already got central retinal artery sequelae. It's too late. They've thrombosed.
Yeah, they are thrombosed. It's all
it's after the fact,
isn't it?
Yeah, missed the bus. So, all right, more questions.
I think that's it. So, anyone else got questions?
Can you call it thrombus because there are red cells? No, because it's organizing thrombus and it's got hemosiderin. So.
And the giant cells are a bit squashed, so they're hard to spot. I actually thought I saw something in that tiny vessel at the top.
Oh, maybe. Okay. The tiny vessel, of course, is completely occluded.
Yeah.
And it hasn't recanalized.
Maybe I was wrong. No, there's none there really. That's a good.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway.
Anyway.
All right, let's get back to the schedule. So I will get the schedule up and share screen.
Let me see.
All right, so here we go. So yes, we've just done this. So I've written tips for answering pathogenesis questions when you're stuck, and I've put it on CuraCloud. Hi, Pathology, explaining pathogenesis. So I think this is a pretty good lesson just to work through. It starts the same as every other lesson with our front page, and then gives you some tips on how to have a framework for doing those difficult pathogenesis questions. So there's the formula that I call the LIPS formula, which is useful when you're confident of the pathogenesis. And I've given an example with acanthamoeba. And then over here is what to do if you don't have a good grasp of the pathogenesis, and use the 5-step method. Oh, look, the pathogenesis of temporal arteritis. So what I suggest is we do take our break till 3 o'clock, because I can see everybody flagging slightly. And then if we've got time, I could do this, or you could do it on your own. And I have written here, I haven't got any answers in these pathogenesises, but here's examples of pathogenesises that you might be asked randomly. Okay, and then some more about mechanisms. You can use the same thing for explaining mechanisms. There we go. In an ideal world, I would have provided examples, but I ran out. So let's go through to 3 o'clock and I'll see you then. Does that seem fair enough?
Okay, back at 3.
Back at 3 after a good break.
Yep.
Lunchtime in Sydney and Adelaide, and late lunchtime in New Zealand. Okay, we'll see you later.
Go get some vitamin D.
Yeah. I'm going to stop sharing and stop recording.